everybody, and welcome to my channel, Sew and Sew with Mel. I'm so happy you're here with me today, and I just want to take a minute to say thank you for all your support and the lovely comments that I get on my videos. I truly appreciate it. If you like this channel or like the content, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and you'll be notified when new videos come out. Having said that, this week I finished two things. Neither one of them were very complicated, but they were really enjoyable makes. Let's get into it. I had two projects that I finished. Both of them were in my fall sewing plans. One was a new pattern and one was a TNT. And I've also started cutting out one that I'll be working on next, which I have a question about that. So before I start the pattern reviews, I wanted to kind of pose that question. I am making a cord set, and it's both the top and the bottoms are with a navy ponte. And depending on how the top comes out, because it is a new pattern to me, I was originally thinking of the pants kind of being a slim, straight leg type ponte pant. I decided to really customize the fit of the top that I'm doing. So if it comes out that the top is a little more closely fitted to the bottom, I may want to do a wide leg pant in the ponte, which I have not done before. So I'm looking for some pattern suggestions. Have you made any wide leg, I guess, knit patterns or something that would be suitable for ponte? And if you have, put it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it and get some ideas in case I need to pivot the pants pattern that I was looking at making. Having said that, let's get into the pattern review. So the main pattern that was new to me that I worked on this week and finished was the Seamwork Oliver Sweater. As always, I will pop in some video footage and some pictures and go over some of the info and how I found the pattern worked. The Oliver pattern from Seamwork, the description says, make a subtle statement with the Oliver top. This sweater has a boat neck and full length lantern sleeves for just a little bit of a dramatic fit. Some of the notes about the fitting are, and they have two sizing bands. There is a Mrs. Fit, which is a 0 to 16, and excuse me for kind of looking down reading all this. And that pattern is drafted for a C cup. And then there's a curvy fit, which is sizes 18 to 26, and that is drafted for a double D cup. And they're both drafted for a height of 5'8". Now, I am a member of Seamwork. I've kind of committed to trying to use a few of their patterns just because I haven't really utilized my membership very well with them. You don't have to be a member to get their patterns, as I understand it. You can buy them as standalone patterns. So if you like the look of this sweater, I will just say, I think you can go on and buy the pattern by itself. You don't have to actually join. The neckline is finished with the facing, and the relaxed silhouette works well with medium weight knits, such as French terry, ponte, sweatshirt fleece, and sweater knits. The sizing ranges from a bust of 33 inches to 54 inches, the waist from 25 inches to 47, and a hip of 35 inches to 58 inches. And you need anywhere from 1 3/8 yards to 2 5/8, depending on your size. I found the pattern drafted very well. The instructions were clear. They give a lot of finished garment measurements, which is really nice always in a pattern. The fabric that I used for the pattern was a sweater knit, and it was from Stylemaker Fabrics, and I believe there is none left, but if there is, I will put a link in the description box. I have not worked too much with sweater knits before, but I found that this, I feel like it's very soft and very comfortable. I would not hesitate to buy it again. Changes to the patterns that I made were, after kind of really reviewing the finished garment measurements and taking double and triple taking my measurements to make sure I kind of had a clear view of how this was going to fit me, I did add 2 inches to the bodice. And the reason I did that was because in looking at the pattern, I had kind of decided that I really wanted a kind of a chunky 2-inch bottom on the hem. And the original pattern called for just kind of a fold over and to cover stitch the ends. Anyway, so, and I'm long-waisted. So I knew I needed to add a little bit, but I also wanted to account for a much deeper hem than what the pattern called for. I don't know if you can see it real good, but I'll try to see if I can stand on my tiptoes. You can kind of see, I did a 2-inch hem and then, you know, used my cover stitch to do that. That's just a personal preference. And how I like to do my hems. I think it called for like a 1/2 inch hem or something like that, more in line with the hem on the sleeves right here. You can see that. So anyway, I did finish off the neck in the way they recommended, which, because it had a facing, so I didn't really want to have to fool with resizing the facing or anything. Also, a change that I made to the pattern was I actually took off 3 inches from the length of the lantern sleeves, and I did 1.5 inches on each piece. You know, there's 2 pieces. There's this top part and then the bottom that kind of makes that lantern shape. So I took off 1.5 inches from this side, 1.5 inches from this side, and in hindsight, I mean, it falls pretty well. I don't know if you can see it, but I feel like when I do this, it comes up a little short. So I may go back, and when I do this pattern again, I may add back another 1/2 inch to that sleeve. I really get bothered when the sleeves are too far down here, but I think another 1/2 inch might be perfect in adding to it. And I will definitely be making this pattern again. In fact, there is sort of a hack in one of the blogs on Seamwork that I found that talks about adding a funnel neck to this pattern, and it kind of walks you through what you need to do for that. So I have some loop back terry that I want to make a sweatshirt out of, and I thought, oh, that little funnel neck would be really cute on this. I think that's the plans for the next time I make this pattern. I don't know when that'll be, if it'll be this year or next year, but anyway, that's the plan. Always so many plans, not enough time. The next thing that I made this week that I finished up were another pair. I know you're gonna say, not another pair, but yes, I did another pair of the Friday Pattern Company Sagoro pants. It's a T&T for me, a tried and true pattern. I know exactly how they're gonna fit and look. The only difference was I have never made them out of anything quite as drapey as the fabric that I used this time. I'm not gonna talk too much about the pattern because I feel like I've already covered it in some of my videos, but I'll put up some pictures and some videos. If there is any of the fabric left, which I also purchased from Stylemaker, I will put a link in the description box as well. So I'm showing them to you right here because I need some advice. Let's say that. So the one thing I did do different that I've normally always done with the Saquaro pants is I just sew the hem normally at the bottom of the pants. But the fabric that I used here was a viscose twill. And it's, you know, if you can see here, it's got a lot of drape. It It made a really beautiful pair of pants, but I also thought because of the drape and that they looked a little bit nicer, that I needed to do a blind hem on the bottom. And where I'm looking for advice is, I didn't do this by hand, I did this on my machine. I don't know if this is gonna come up. I might have to put in some pictures. Let's see if you can. I don't think it's gonna come up. I matched the thread really well. So I'm gonna have to look right here. I'm gonna put a photo because I think that's the only way you're gonna see it. So when I've got to the seam on the side of the leg at the bottom of the hem, it did not matter what I tried to do. I tried using a hump jumper. I tried kind of cranking by hand. I could not figure out how to get it to not take as big of a bite. Just right there before that, it was like the bite right before the seam and the bite right after always comes out where you can kind of see the little stitch come out. It's not so blind. And I know it's a little thing and no one else is gonna know but me, you know, but it bothers me. I want to figure out those kind of little problems. And so if anybody has any grand advice on doing a blind hem, besides maybe just doing it by hand, which I don't love hand sewing. But if you are a pro at doing a blind hem on your sewing machine, how do you treat when you come to a bulky seam? That's my problem. Let me know, drop it in the comments below. This week, I will be traveling a little bit. I don't know if I'll have another video coming out this next week. Until next time, I look forward to hearing from you guys and happy sewing. Bye.